Welcome to the Hummingbird Cafe.
Try a little act of kindness.
Let's start from the beginning. I want to know about the inspiration behind the show.
Absolutely. I feel that I started paying attention over the past few years of it seemed like grown-ups were treating each other with a lack of compassion, a lack of civility, and a lack of kindness. I found that surprising. I found it disappointing. I was like, why is this happening? These are lessons that we learn as very young children, how to be kind to each other. These are lessons we learn on programs such as Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which is a big influence for me. Let's see if we can't help remind viewers of how to be kind and to be compassionate. And so through a lot of development, we ended up with Hello, Jack, and I'm so thrilled about it.
Great. I love the show, and I really love the message. And I was wondering, because we have seen you in 30 Rock, we have seen you in the late night with Conan O'Brien, and so many comedies, and humor is so important. And just watching you, I associate you with good times, good moments. So how did those shows and those movies and those experiences help you build this series? And why do you think humor is so important in our lives?
Oh, both excellent questions. I was excited to incorporate comedy into a preschool program because I think children do respond to humor. Children and also music. Let's make sure we talk about the music too.
Yes.
With my background in comedy, I wanted to just lean into the skill set that I already had, realizing that I would have to do some homework with the children's programming because it is for preschool. I wanted it to be meaningful and appropriate. So with the curriculum, with the language, the scripting, all that kind of thing, it was great to have experts come in to help me with that. Comedy in general, I think, is just a wonderful way of expressing oneself creatively. I'm kind of excited about the fact that I can still incorporate that into children's programming without necessarily having to change the way I do my comedy. I'm not necessarily known for my edgy or, cutting humor. So to be able to go straight into a preschool show, flexing the same muscles that I used on 30 Rock and on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, it was an interesting exercise, but I think I was able to do it pretty successfully.
And you work with animals and children. So, and I know they always say like it's pretty challenging working with children and animals, like don't work with children or animals. So I was going to ask you about the experience because you kind of went, with both there.
Whole hog. No, of course it has its challenges, but guess what? It's also challenging working with the grown-ups too. The one episode where we had a pet adoption did, of course, have its own challenges, but I do have to say our younger actors were so excited to be able to work with these animals. And it was so interesting to see, the experts that are involved with that kind of episode. And I do have to brag on our younger actors. They are total pros. There was never an issue with them. They knew their lines better than I did. I'll even go so far as to say that their parents were delightful, because we've all heard horror stories about that kind of thing. Not even a little bit with us. Incredible parents with just amazingly talented and fun child actors. We all call each other on our birthdays. It's just such a delight. And I gotta say, even in like the 2 years since filming, you see them grow, and it warms your heart. It's very special.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And, the hummingbird is such a nice element and a nice important piece to the story. How did this come up, and why is it so important?
The hummingbird, it was important. Dr. Jean-Lei Lee was helpful. To have a visual cue for a younger viewer is often helpful. So our hummingbird is kind of our unofficial mascot that lets us know when an act of kindness is happening in between our characters. Why did we choose hummingbird? Jack McBrayer. I don't have any pets, but I have hummingbirds that come to my backyard. There are so many of them. I have a feeder about this big that I fill with my sugar water. They go through an entire feeder every day. every day. Again, they're not my pets, but like I have to get a house sitter whenever I like go out of town to feed my hummingbirds.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's super fun. And they are gorgeous. If you've never seen a hummingbird in real life, just even watch videos of them. They are fascinating. They're just wonders of nature. They're nature's drones, but they're just so fun to watch. And so because they were important to me as Jack McBrayer, we decided to incorporate them into the show.
And well, now talking about the industry, I mean, Hollywood, I know that you can find some pretty mean people in the run, and competitive people and arrogant people as well. So I'm sure that you have had all kinds of experiences, but I want you to tell me one of the nicest ones. I mean, how the nicest people you find on the way and how they help you get here.
Absolutely. And I do have to say, for the record, yes, we do hear the horror stories of the feuds and the scandals and all that. That has not necessarily been the case for me. For the most part, I've emerged unscathed. And even though you might hear about terrible behavior, I have not been subjected to it. But on the flip side, I have to even use Hello Jack as an example. In season 2, we have so many incredible guest stars joining us. And they're joining us because I asked them to, and they knew how important it was for me. And they said yes. They did me this wonderful, kind favor of joining me to do a preschool show. So they knew that it was important to me. They said yes. And that just epitomizes the kindness that you can see in showbiz, even though there is the other side. This is the good side that I want people to know about too.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to see who they are.
Oh, yeah.
If you could choose, I'm sure you have many actors and actresses friends. I actually just recently saw a podcast where you were talking about going to Priyanka and Nick Jonas' wedding. I couldn't stop watching that. But anyway, I'm sure you must have a lot of friends or personal friends that are not actors or in celebrities. If you could choose one to host a complete episode and you were like, yes, they could definitely do a great job, who would you choose?
Oh, that is a wonderful question. Oh gosh, there's too many. I'm dear friends with Alexander Skarsgård.
A top 3?
Okay, top 3. Alexander Skarsgård, who's a dear friend. I would love to see what Donald Glover could teach us about. I worked with him on 30 Rock and just knew him from the improv scene in New York. And of course, he's like a superstar now, but like, what could he share with us? And then sweet Amy Adams. I've known her for years. And I know between her being a mother, but just loving children, I bet that she could have a fun time on there as well.
Love it.
I love it. Famous people.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jack, for your time.
Of course.
Really love the show. And congratulations on season 2.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You too. Bye.
Kindness starts with a simple hello. Hello, you.
Hello, Jack.